witnessed true greatness. I mean, truly felt it, deep down. That undeniable presence of someone or maybe something just operate on a completely different level.
Oh, absolutely. Could be an athlete, right? Doing things that just seem impossible.
Or an artist, maybe, whose work just hits you right in the soul. Or sometimes it's even an animal that just commands your attention, inspires this sense of awe.
Yeah, some individuals, human or not, they just have that spark. It's that unique mix, isn't it? Raw talent, hard work, and this charisma you can't quite pin down.
Exactly. They don't just perform, they inspire. They don't just win. They kind of rewrite the rule book, leave this huge mark. Their stories stick around.
It's that difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between being really, really good and actually becoming a legend. Their impact goes way beyond just their own field. They set a new standard.
Precisely. And today, our deep dive is into the legend of one such individual. A canine, actually, who became internationally famous, left people totally speechless. We are talking about Grand Champion El Titere.
El Titere, a huge name.
Huge. So our mission today is to kind of unpack what made El Titere so incredibly special. We're talking unbelievable intelligence, athletic ability that was just off the charts.
And the effect he had on people, right? Those who actually saw him.
Yes. And figure out his place, his rightful place, really, in the history of truly remarkable dogs. Now, as we get into the story, we'll be touching on a specific competitive world using some specific terms from that historical context.
And it's important to say, like always, our goal here is just to report impartially on the ideas and the accounts from our source material. We want to understand them in their historical time without, endorsing any specific practices ourselves.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, our main source is the writing of Richard F. Stratton, specifically his book, Grand Champion El Titere, A Canine Legend.
Stratton's perspective is really key here. It gives us this incredibly vivid personal look into the presence, the ability, and just the whole aura around this exceptional animal.
Okay, let's really get into this because Stratton's personal story of meeting El Titere, it's just captivating. He talks about this overwhelming feeling, like he knew, absolutely knew, he was in the presence of greatness.
Just think about that phrase, presence of greatness. That's not just, oh, nice dog. It's something deeper. Reverential, almost.
Totally. He felt it was a genuine honor just to be photographed with El Titere, which, might sound a bit much for a dog initially.
Right, until you hear the comparisons Stratton makes. They are bold, audacious even, but they really drive home how significant Kiter felt.
So what comparisons are we talking about? Because they really are something else.
Well, he doesn't just compare him to other dogs or even just other animals. Stratton puts being photographed with Titere on par with standing next to Man of War or Secretariat.
Wow. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, those are arguably the greatest racehorses ever. Titans of the track. Mythical figures almost.
Exactly. But then Stratton goes even further. He crosses over into human history. He puts Titere in the same league as Jack Johnson.
The legendary boxer.
Yeah.
Known for his brains as much as his brawn.
The very same.
Ah.
And William Shakespeare.
Seriously. Shakespeare. The playwright.
Yep. And Albert Einstein.
Okay, hold on. Einstein. The Einstein. He's comparing a dog to Shakespeare and Einstein.
He is. And Stratton doubles down. He says, flat out, yes, he was just that much of a standout.
I mean, that's just staggering. It tells you this wasn't just about winning matches, was it?
Not at all. It was about the whole animal, his entire being,
Yeah.
his aura, the complete impact he had. It implies this total package of excellence that went way beyond just his performance stats.
Right, the full package dog, as Stratton calls him. It wasn't just about the wins.
No, it was holistic. Stratton describes him as physically good-looking, which adds to that presence, obviously, but also smart, and we'll get into just how smart.
And his temperament.
Loaded with personality, Stratton says, and possessed a good nature. So you've got looks, brains, and a great disposition. He would have been impressive to anyone, in any situation, not just in his specific field. He had this charisma.
That's such a crucial point. It makes him more relatable, doesn't it? Beyond just the champion status. Stratton even tells that story about his own dog, Hoover.
Right, and the vet who was super impressed with Hoover, just based on his looks and behavior, how smart and gentle he seemed.
Yeah, and Stratton felt proud, naturally, but then he kind of wondered, would the vet be impressed or maybe just totally shocked if they knew about Hoover's other activities, the competitive stuff?
It's a great anecdote because it makes you think, how do we judge greatness? Is it just the public achievements? or the underlying qualities.
And Stratton's point is that Titere would have impressed anyone, vet or stranger, even if they knew nothing about his competitive background.
Exactly. But, and this is the key distinction, Stratton makes Titere's competitive accomplishments far surpass Hoover's. So Titere's intelligence, his personality, his good behavior, they weren't just nice extras. They were fundamental. They were part of what made his physical and strategic abilities so devastatingly effective.
It's that combination, that synergy.
Absolutely. The whole package. That incredible depth of character combined with the unmatched record. That's what earned him that profound respect.
Okay, this is where it gets, for me, really fascinating. Titere's intelligence. Stratton doesn't just say smart. He gives specific examples of how it showed up, especially under pressure.
Yes, that comparison to Jack Johnson again. He talks about Titere's freaky ring generalship and his mastery on defense.
So Jack Johnson, known for being strategic, defensive, outthinking opponents.
Right.
Controlling the fight.
Precisely. So comparing Titere to him elevates Titere way beyond just being strong or aggressive.
Yeah.
It suggests this incredibly sophisticated understanding of the contest, this ability to anticipate, adapt, control the pace.
Ring generalship in a dog. That implies calculated thinking, doesn't it? Not just instinct.
Totally. Dictating the terms, conserving energy, exploiting weaknesses through positioning and timing. For a dog to show that level of tactical nuance, it's really remarkable. It suggests cognitive abilities far beyond what most people would expect. Almost human-like foresight in the heat of the moment.
And the comparisons just keep coming. Stratton also calls him a modern Billy Sunday. Now, Billy Sunday, for those deep into the history of the American Pit Bull Terrier, he's a legend from the early 20th century, known specifically for his incredible intelligence.
Right. Billy Sunday's reputation was built on his uncanny ability to, as Stratton puts it, figure out any dog's fighting style and beat it, or even turn it against him.
Wow. So it wasn't about being the strongest, it was about being the smartest, analyzing the opponent.
Exactly. It highlights this really rare, highly valued kind of analytical intelligence in the breed. It's not just about power or stamina or even gameness, though those matter. It's about strategic problem solving, adapting during the match.
Turning an opponent's strengths against them. That's next-level thinking.
Absolutely. So when Stratton says Titere had that same rare ability, it puts Titere in this elite, almost mythical category. It makes him a candidate for the best of our times, not just because he won, but because of how he won, by outsmarting his opponents, showing a strategic mind at work.
That perspective also leads into Stratton's belief about modern dogs. He thought dogs like Titere, these fast-lane dogs, were actually considerably better than the dogs back in the times of Armitage and Clark. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is bold.
Yeah.
It suggests a real, measurable improvement in the breed's capabilities over generations. You have to wonder what drove that better breeding, better conditioning, nutrition.
Right, and Stratton gives that historical context, doesn't he, about Harry Clark, who owned both Cager and Billy Sunday.
Yeah, Clark apparently thought Billy Sunday was the best dog of his time, personally, even though George Armitage, another huge name, rated Cager as his top dog.
So even back then, judging the greatest was subjective.
Totally subjective.
Okay.
But Stratton's claim that modern dogs are considerably better suggests that Titere, as this modern-day Billy Sunday, might represent the peak of that evolution, combining the strategic genius of the past with perhaps enhanced physical traits from modern breeding and care.
So for Stratton, it felt like a genuine leap forward in quality. And he keeps coming back to that central idea. Titere was nothing short of the full package.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just brains, not just brawn, freaky athletic ability combined with that profound intelligence. And, of course, that crucial element in this context, gameness.
Can you unpack gameness a bit for listeners who might not be familiar with the term in this specific historical context?
Sure. In this specific competitive world, gameness refers to this. This is unwavering determination, an incredible will to continue, to push through despite immense difficulty, pain, or exhaustion. It's psychological strength, sheer force of will, complementing the physical and mental skills.
So Titere had it all. The athleticism, the smarts, and this indomitable spirit.
That's what Stratton emphasizes repeatedly. He perfectly combined all these elements. He wasn't just strong, wasn't just clever. He was this integrated system of physical power, an analytical mind, and an unbreakable spirit. That fusion is why Stratton so confidently calls him a candidate for the best of his time, maybe the best ever.
You know, it really is tough to judge how good a dog truly is unless you know who they beat. Right? The level of competition matters hugely.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And this is where El Titere's record it speaks volumes. He didn't just win, he beat top-level, respected opponents again and again.
And he got his grand championship incredibly fast, didn't he? Just 13 months, competing at 44 pounds, which is a really common, tough weight class.
Yeah, 13 months is astonishingly quick. And Stratton makes it clear this was against top competition. That kind of rapid rise to the top, especially at that weight, tells you about his consistency, his dominance.
Let's walk through that path, because each match adds something to the picture. His first professional match was against McTen.
Right. McTen was already a two-time winner, so a proven competitor. TITERE, in his debut, beat him in 34 minutes.
That's a strong start, beating an experienced winner that decisively right out of the gate.
It really was a clear statement. It signaled immediately that something special had arrived.
Then his second win against a Mayday dog, a one-time winner, that one was even quicker.
Yeah, just 24 minutes. Suggests he was maybe getting even more dominant, more efficient, or perhaps just refining his approach. Either way, dispatching opponents quickly.
Then came Redman, another two-time winner. That took a bit longer.
1 hour and 7 minutes. Still a clear win, but the longer time might suggest Redman was a tougher, more resilient opponent. It showed TITERE had stamina too, that he could grind out a win against a dog that wouldn't quit easily.
He followed that by beating another two-time winner in 45 minutes. Just consistently taking down proven dogs.
Stacking up those quality wins. But the fifth match, the one for his championship, that's really telling.
That was against champion Omar, right? Both TITERE and Omar were four-time winners going into it.
Exactly. A true clash of titans, both at their peak. And TITERE won, again, relatively quickly, 34 minutes. But here's the kicker. Omar was judged gamest in show, despite losing to TITERE.
Wow. What does that signify?
It signifies TITERE's overwhelming superiority. It means Omar fought with incredible heart and determination right to the very end, showed legendary gameness, but TITERE was just better, unequivocally dominant. It says TITERE forced even the best opponents to dig deeper than ever before just to stay in the fight.
Then there's the whole saga around the Dog of the Year title. He was supposed to fight grand champion Balboa.
Yeah, Balboa was a 6-time winner, the reigning Dog of the Year for 2012. It was the fight everyone wanted to see. But then TITERE got sick during his keep.
The conditioning period before a match.
Exactly. The intense preparation. He got sick, had to forfeit. Must have been a huge disappointment for everyone.
Adds a bit of drama, though, doesn't it? A setback for the rising star.
It really does. It makes the eventual showdown even more anticipated. Built the tension, you know.
So they finally rescheduled for 2013.
Yep, almost a year later. And TITERE delivered. He beat Balboa in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
A longer fight.
Yeah.
Suggests Balboa was a serious challenge.
Definitely. A hard-fought battle against the reigning champ, and by winning, TITERE took Balboa's crown, effectively becoming the Dog of the Year for 2013. It solidified his place as the top dog of his era, no question. He beat the best head-to-head.
And he kept facing top dogs. He beat champion Lotto, another four-time winner.
Right, in 47 minutes. But that match is famous for what happened with Lotto. Even though Lotto lost, he was voted gamest in show.
Okay, similar to the Omar fight.
Even more so, actually. Lotto's performance against TITERE was considered so outstanding, so incredibly game, that he was later voted gamest dog of the year.
Wait, gamest dog of the year for a performance where he lost?
Exactly. It's an incredible testament to TITERE. It shows that TITERE pushed his opponents to such extreme limits that their displays of sheer grit, even in defeat against him, were seen as the absolute pinnacle of gameness for the entire year. It means facing TITERE brought out legendary efforts from his opponents.
That really highlights the respect he must have commanded. Even beating him involves something extraordinary from the opponent.
Precisely.
Yeah.
His presence elevated the entire game.
So as he got older, he kept going. He fought FB Smokey when he was 7.
Yeah, 7 years old, which is getting up there for this kind of demanding competition. Smokey was a young 2-time winner. So the classic matchup. Old veteran versus young gun.
A huge test of endurance and strategy against youth.
Absolutely. Age disadvantage is real. Could his experience and smarts overcome Smokey's youth and vigor?
And the answer was yes?
A resounding yes. TITERE won, but it was a marathon. 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Whoa, over 2 hours. At 7 years old. That's incredible endurance.
Incredible. It showed his gameness was still there, his conditioning was amazing for his age, but also his strategic brilliance. He must have managed the fight perfectly, paced himself, used his experience to outlast the younger dog.
That win must have really cemented his legacy.
No doubt. Another magazine apparently named him Dog of the Decade. After that, he retired soon after, an 8-time winner at 7 years old. Just an unparalleled career, really.
So how does a dog get to be that good for that long? It can't just be luck, right? You mentioned his background.
Definitely not luck. The foundation was his pedigree, his ancestry. Born in Puerto Rico, sired by Panthro.
And Panthro was good himself.
Very good. A four-time winner over some really good opponents, according to Stratton. So winning was already in his immediate bloodline. Proven genetics.
And the breeding itself was intentional. SM sending ENANA to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Suggests a deliberate plan to combine specific, powerful bloodlines.
But Stratton mentions some people might call him scatterbred. What does that mean, and why does Stratton disagree?
Scatterbred usually implies the pedigree isn't tightly line-bred or inbred. Maybe look a bit random to someone less experienced, a neophyte. But Stratton's point is emphatic. That doesn't matter if the quality of the ancestors is consistently high.
Ah.
He insists Titere's lineage was made up of all good frontline proven dogs. Even if they weren't super closely related, each ancestor was a proven performer or producer.
So it's about the quality of each individual link in the chain, not just how close the links are.
Exactly. And Stratton lists some of those links. Frisco, Hunter Red, Garner's Spike, Jeep.
Names that mean a lot to people who know the breed's history.
Huge names. Foundational lines known for producing game. Top-tier dogs. Seeing them in the pedigree tells you about the depth of quality. Stratton's conclusion: his being such a good bulldog was no accident. It was generations of proven excellence coming together.
A masterwork of breeding, essentially. And he had a good retirement.
Yeah, Stratton mentions SM was able to acquire him, so he retired into SM's custody. A quiet end for a legendary dog.
You know, TITERE's story really makes you think about legacy and how we remember the greats. Dog people, like fans of any sport or art form, really venerate the historical figures, don't they? Like Colby's Pinscher or Galvin's pup from over a century ago.
Absolutely. There's this deep reverence for history, a sense of continuity. Stratton points out that those old legends are in the ancestry of all our dogs today. Knowing that connection, tracing the lines back, gives people real pleasure and pride. It connects them to the roots of the breed.
And for folks really wanting to dive deep into that history, you mentioned a resource.
Yeah, for anyone passionate about APBT history and the stories of these game dogs, the YouTube channel APBT INFO is just fantastic. Seriously, hundreds of hours of content, deep dives into pedigrees, historical accounts. It really brings that world to life. Highly recommend checking it out.
Good tip. So TITERE now joins those historical ranks. He's part of that story people will tell for generations.
Exactly. He belongs to history now. You can imagine future enthusiasts wishing they could have just seen him, felt that presence Stratton described. He's become one of those longed-for figures.
And potentially an ancestor himself to future greats.
Stratton certainly speculates that. He thinks many future revered dogs might well be TITERE descendants. So his legacy extends physically through his bloodline, ensuring his influence continues for generations. He's become a source of future greatness.
Whenever you talk about the greatest in any field, there's always debate, isn't there? It's never unanimous.
Never. Stratton's very upfront about that. He says absolute certainty is impossible, the world is too vast, and good dogs are numerous. There are always others owners might champion as the best.
It comes down to opinion, bias, personal experience, like Armitage favoring Cager and Clark favoring Billy Sunday back in the day.
Exactly. It's natural to elevate the ones that impressed you the most, or the ones you knew personally. It doesn't diminish TITERE's greatness, but it puts it in context. There are always other amazing dogs, other legends meaningful to their own circles.
Still, despite acknowledging all that subjectivity, Stratton, whose opinion carries so much weight, he doesn't back down on TITERE, does he?
Not at all. He states it clearly. TITERE is most definitely a candidate for the greatest dog of our generation, and even a top candidate for the honor of best dog in the world. Coming from Stratton, with his experience and perspective, that's a massive statement, a deep conviction.
And it feels personal for him, too.
Very personal. That line where he just says, I'm glad I got to meet him and to hold his leash, that hits differently, doesn't it? It's not just stats. It's the impact the dog had on him.
Yeah. It seals it. The record, the intelligence, the personality, and that unforgettable impression he left. That's the full picture of his legendary status.
Absolutely. The complete package, cemented in history.
And that really brings our deep dive on Grand Champion El Titere to a close. We've looked at his incredible intelligence, his almost unbelievable athletic ability, that profound gameness, and just the sheer admiration he inspired, all combining to make him not just a champion, but a true legend.
It really does leave you thinking, doesn't it? What are those fundamental qualities that lift someone or something from just being good or even great to being truly legendary?
Yeah, what's that spark? That unique combination that leads to amazing achievements but also inspires that deep sense of awe and leaves a mark on history.
And how do stories like El Titere's help us maybe understand that essence of excellence, that drive for greatness, pushing limits, whether it's a dog, an athlete, an artist? It reminds you of the potential that's out there, right?
Yeah.
In any field, in any living being.